All right, this right here is the Solis by SIMO. It is a 5G mobile hotspot device. The unique thing about this device, though, is that it gives you 1 GB of data every month for free. So you can use this and not pay a subscription to SIMO at all, which is very unique in the industry. And that's actually what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. Now, yes, SIMO offers plans for this device for you to tack on some extra data plans, which are very costly, to extend the data that you get every month, because let's face it, 1 GB is not a lot. But what I'm going to be talking about in this video is ways that you can be smart and only use 1 GB every month by supplementing live TV streaming with things like over-the-air TV, using something like a Plex server to host movies and TV shows offline. And what I'm specifically going to be using this for is at a remote cabin site. So instead of me paying for a monthly internet connection at our remote cottage, what I'm going to be doing instead is having this device there as a means of supplying internet to a few little IoT devices that send just little bits of data every month from that cabin. I have a live band scan that tracks over-the-air TV signals that just sends a few kilobytes of data every month. I've got another one that sends information about our solar system down there. I've got another one that sends back little temperature information and stuff like that, humidity information. All of it consumes just a few kilobytes over a period of a month. And this device will be able to supply that data connection for these devices that don't use a lot of internet capacity. And at our cabin, we also have a Plex server and I have over-the-air TV. So let's face it, if you were to use this for streaming video, you would blow through that gigabyte super fast. You would blow through it in probably 30 minutes if you're streaming 1080p video. So you would want to, if you wanted to actually stream video through this thing, to upgrade to just the what's given to you for free every month plan. And it is expensive. It's like getting into like the hundreds of dollars range per month to just get like 100 GB. So I wouldn't recommend using this for the data unless you absolutely had to. A situation where you really needed more data in that instant. But just using this for its free 1 GB every month for however long this company is still in business for, and however long 5G cell towers are still in operation for, is actually a really good concept. And again, there's a few ways that you can use the internet and not consume a lot of data. One of those, believe it or not, is actually AI chatbots, because think about it, you're only sending text to the OpenAI server and then text is just going back to you. As long as you're not doing like image generation or video generation, you'll have tons of capacity sending chatbot requests using this. Also, simple Google searches as well, as long as you're not loading a lot of photos and videos, simple web pages and Google searches. You can do plenty of those with this in a month as well. And the other thing too is things like iMessage and WhatsApp and Instagram DMs, Facebook Messenger, services like that. As long as you're just sending text back and forth, you could pretty much send an insane amount of messages. So basically, it's not going to be, oh man, I can only send 500 messages this month. It would be something like 500,000 messages you could send. So I wouldn't worry about using this if you're just using it for things like AI chatbots, simple Google searches, maybe even some basic social media just for little bits of time here and there. And I'm sure there are people out there that is pretty much their lifestyle with using the internet. And if that's the case for you, then you could literally get away with not having to pay any monthly fees for internet for as long as this company is still around, and as long as there's 5G cell towers around, and as long as they don't change this and they keep their terms of service the same and you can still do this. It would actually be a very smart thing to do. So for my cases at our cabin remote cottage site, I'm going to be using this for those little IoT devices that consume that little bits of data. And then we have over-the-air TV, so we don't have to stream television through the internet, which is a great data savings for this device. And then we also have a Plex server for movies and TV shows that came from things like over-the-air TV and such, so we don't have to really worry about consuming internet for streaming movies and TV shows and live TV and things like that. And for the little IoT devices that need internet and for just having a basic internet connection, this should work for the time that we're down there, because we're not down there all that much either. So I think this device is going to be a great cost savings for us in the time being. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to head there now, and I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to show you kind of my setup with how this is working down there. So without further ado, let me go to the cabin and I'll show you my experience setting this up. All right, so I am at our cabin right now, and I brought the gl.inet Slate little travel router with us here, and this is going to be our new router and access point for this cabin. I would actually highly recommend it for combining it with this device. And then I took a USB-C cable to USB type A cable, and I connected it to the gl.inet. And as soon as I connected it to the gl.inet travel router, it came up with this message asking if I want to turn on USB tethering. And I'm going to click turn on, and it's saying connecting on the gl.inet, and we are connected. So we have an internet connection now on the gl.inet travel router here through the USB-C tethering on the Solis by SIMO device here. And I ran a scan, and it did show AT&T was the best option. After let me just show you what I did. So you can tap this button here on the home screen, and then it comes up with this signal scan screen, and then you can click start, and it will scan for the best network that it can determine based on the conditions for the various cell sites close by from the different, brands. So interesting that as I was doing this scan, the gl.inet actually came back with the interface is connected, but the internet can't be accessed. So that's good. It's reporting whenever there's a problem with the internet, which is great. Obviously, when I was doing the scan, the internet connection briefly went out. It's still doing a scan, it looks like. All right, one of the things that I love about the gl.inet router, and just for letting you guys know, I did get the gl.inet router for free from gl.inet. However, there's no editorial oversight in this video. I'm using this beyond when they originally sent this to me. They actually have a low data mode. As you can see here, it says enable the switch to track only when there is an interface network error, and recommend users to use low data mode when you are on a limited data plan. I'm going to turn this on, and this low data mode will turn on it'll slow down the rate at which things can be done. I'm going to click apply. And just like that, it is on low data mode. And the other cool thing about the gl.inet router is that you can actually use your SIMO by Solis as like a internet backup in the case that your coax or fiber internet or whatever the case may be actually goes out. And you can prioritize your internet access. So if you have an Ethernet cable plugged in from like your cable modem or your fiber modem, you can make that priority number one. And then if that doesn't work, it'll go to like a Wi-Fi access point repeater mode. And then if that doesn't work, it could go to tethering. And using these sliders, you can actually adjust the position. All right, so it's been a few days, and the Solis Pro does allow you to track the data usage from a little web panel when you log in with your credentials. And that's something you set up when you first start up the device. Something that I have noticed though is the data capacity has been blowing through a little bit faster than I thought. I'm not sure if it's my Plex server downloading artwork and other things in the background for the various, TV shows and movies that are on there, or if there's something on my Mac that it's using, like maybe a software update or updating some applications in the background. I'll have to go back and see if there's a way to make sure that all of that's turned off. But when I had first hooked this up, it went from about 1,000 megabytes to 800 megabytes. And then now it's been about 48 hours, and it's now at 550. Now, I had come across this Reddit post before I bought this device, And this person explains that they got the 1 GB lifetime data plan, and that apparently they had recently altered their system to deduct 2 MB every hour. I don't know if that's what mine is doing right now, or again, it could just be my Mac that's updating some applications in the background. It has been kind of going in bigger chunks, so I haven't noticed kind of a steady decrease every hour, but this is a little bit concerning. I just wanted to say too, because what's brought up in, some threads online with Solis is that, you could get a low-end data plan from a MVNO like Tello for only $5 a month for 1 GB. But the thing about the Solis is that that would pay for itself in just a little over 6 years, which is why I went this route. So we'll just have to see if this does become a problem. I will do an update video with the status of how this device is operating and behaving. The thing is though, if you went with an MVNO like Tello for, $5 a month, you would still have to pay for a mobile hotspot device. And that can be, $50 to $100. So you would have to factor that in. So it's not just a complete apples to apples comparison. But I will definitely get back to you on this. I'm very curious to see what will happen with this over time. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.